This quick guide to measuring intelligence is designed specifically for PG psychiatry residents. We will overview definitions, track the historical evolution of assessment, and examine current clinical classifications. First, let us clarify the landscape of testing. Psychometric tests are defined broadly as tests used to assess psychological attributes, abilities, and skills. When we narrow our focus, intelligence tests are those specifically used to assess an individual's cognitive abilities and general knowledge. We must distinguish these from achievement tests, which measure the current level of knowledge in a given area, such as a medical board exam. Lastly, aptitude tests assess an individual's potential or natural ability to do something in the future. We now turn to the development of these assessments, which occurred in 4 distinct waves, beginning with the precursors of the 1800s. In 1838, Esquirol established the foundation by clinically classifying different degrees of intellectual disability. Crucially, he based this classification on an individual's linguistic ability, as he believed use of language was the most dependable measure of intelligence. Simultaneously, in 1837, Seguin established the first school for the education of intellectually disabled children. He utilized physical exercises for motor control and sensory discrimination for training. These procedures, such as the Seguin form board shown here, where individuals must quickly and accurately insert blocks of different shapes into matching board depressions, were later incorporated into nonverbal intelligence tests and are still used in modified forms today. The second wave, in the early 1900s, marked the creation of the first true intelligence test. Developed by Alfred Binet and Theodore Simon, this assessment was created in Paris to assist overcrowded schools in identifying students who required special attention. Crucially, this test included age-graded items. For example, there was a set of tasks that all average 6-year-olds should be able to complete, and a separate set of tasks that all average 8-year-olds should be able to complete. Performance on the test was quantified as mental age, defined as the chronological age that most typically corresponds with a given level of performance. We must note, Binet developed this test believing it did not measure inborn intelligence. The third wave saw critical adaptation and mathematical expansion. Louis Terman found the Binet test did not work well with children in California. He adapted and expanded it to include adults, creating the famous Stanford-Binet test. Terman, seen here with Stern, believed this test did measure a person's innate intelligence. Based on the Stanford-Binet, William Stern then derived the original formula for calculating IQ, which is mental age divided by chronological age multiplied by 100. Mental age was based on test performance, and chronological age was ceilinged at 15 for adults. For example, a child of 10 with a mental age of 12 would receive an IQ of 120. A score of 100, where mental age equaled chronological age, was average. However, it is essential for modern practice to recognize that the formulaic concept of mental age has fallen into disrepute. This statistical normalization means that precisely 68% of all individuals will score between 85 and 115. This is the deviation IQ system, which most other intelligence tests now use. Beyond the WISE, Wetzler also developed the WISC, which is the most widely used intelligence test for school-age children. Finally, we apply this deviation IQ framework to clinical classification, referencing the chart on the right. When interpreting these scores in practice, look for specific ranges. The green category is average IQ, which is statistically fixed as scores falling between 85 and 115. Looking at the high end of the distribution, above average refers to any score over 115. Specifically, individuals with scores over 130 are clinically classified as gifted, an elite designation illustrated here by the star icon. The reverse applies to the low end. Any score below 85 is clinically classified as subaverage. This broad category is subdivided by severity, specifically for diagnosing levels of intellectual disability, or ID, formerly known as mental retardation. These subclassifications are represented by the 5 distinct levels in the orange to yellow chart. Borderline functioning applies to IQ scores between 70 and 85. If a formal diagnosis of ID is required, we use the following categories. Mild ID refers to scores 50 to 69. Moderate ID refers to scores 35 to 49. Severe ID refers to scores 20 to 34. And profound ID is any score below 20. Understanding these 5 levels is essential for clinical diagnosis, treatment planning, and resource allocation. Lastly, we define the term savant, illustrated here by the artist who can create a masterpiece despite overall cognitive averages. A savant is a specific clinical designation for an individual who exhibits sub-average intelligence yet possesses one exceptional, specialized talent. This guide provides the historical context and mathematical definitions required for integrating intelligence testing into clinical psychiatry. Please use this reference point when ordering and interpreting psychological assessments.